Good evening, my beautiful people. I am coming to you today on April 21st, 2020. And yesterday marked a historic day for the world economy. Yesterday marked the first time in history when oil dropped below $0 per barrel. Yesterday, on April 20th, 2020, oil crashed at negative $40 a barrel for the first time in history. So, in other words, these producers were paying their buyers to take the oil off of their hands, if that even makes sense. So no one ever expected oil to crash, and the reason for that being that obviously, everyone is inside their house, no one is leaving, so there's no driving, or there's very little driving, there's very little flying, there's very little places that are open that provide services, and these services do use oil to function. Whenever you're producing goods, it also requires oil. So this has been going on now for a while. The reason behind it is OPEC and Russia have basically, to put it simply, they have overflooded the market with supply. And because they have overflooded the market with supply and there is not enough demand for oil, then the prices must come down. So what does this mean for the US dollar, the money that we have, the money that me and you use to pay for our everyday things, to live on? Well, what we do know is that, the dollar is no longer backed by gold, it is backed by oil. In fact, almost 100% of all oil purchases around the world use US dollars to buy and sell oil. So what happens when oil crashes? Well, the dollar must go down. Many people are suggesting or thinking that this may be a plot from Russia and the Middle East to take down the oil companies here in the US and break down the economy. Can or cannot be. Is it a coincidence that they just so happened to increase the supply of oil when our economy or the world economy got hit with the coronavirus and everyone happened to be quarantined? Who knows? So why is this a big deal for you and I, Americans? Well, if the dollar breaks, then our way of living changes. And the way to break the dollar, many understand, is to first knock down the price of oil. And if you knock down the price of oil, then increase the price of gold, you reduce the value of the dollar. Why is that important? The reason that is important is because the dollar is a direct competitor of gold. You may ask, how is that possible? The reason that is possible is because the US dollar is the world reserve. And when the US dollar goes down in value, the people and the world economies lose confidence in that dollar and look for another asset as the world reserve. The other asset that they tend to look towards is precious metals, usually gold and silver. What happens is the US dollar tanks and it loses value. At the same time, I'm not here to be a bearer of bad news. I'm just relating the information. At this point, stay calm. The world is not ending, right? At least from what we know. We do know that, of course, the oil market will come back eventually. Obviously, when we get out of this quarantine and social distancing and we get more leverage on the vaccine and everyone feels more confident in going out and we start opening things up slowly, then we'll start seeing again the increase in prices for oil. So that's not a problem. However, in the immediate future, these are certain things that you will be expecting, or that you should be expecting. One is you should be expecting major job losses, especially in the oil industry. Anything circulating or that service the oil industry as well may be losing jobs, such as ConocoPhillips, such as any other oil companies. Halliburton is another one. Number two, when it pertains to real estate, expect longer days on market for homes that are above the medium home price. So anything above 300, 350, up in that area, 450, 400 and up, expect to see a lot or longer days on market for those homes. Number three, homes in the medium home price range, which is 250 and below, you might even be able to go 300 and below. You should be seeing a slower rate of sales, possibly, but it will not be as slow as the higher priced homes. So you should be seeing a little bit longer days on market, but it's not going to be anything where it's exponential. In my opinion, I don't think that there will be any slowdown that's significant enough. I think there's still a high demand for those homes, and there's not enough supply yet. So I think that those homes will continue to, fly off the shelf here in Houston, Texas. Number four, of course, which is obvious, prices of gas will lower for the moment, and then they will shoot back up. Now, the prices of goods and services will go up in price. So things like bread, obviously any groceries, household items, any services like delivery, things of that nature, expect that to go up in price. And lastly, expect more money printing. Expect the Fed to bail out the oil industry. In my opinion, they will bail them out. They have to, because so many businesses and so much money and cities are built on oil. Houston used to be built on oil. We don't have as much dependence on oil anymore. We do have different sectors like healthcare. So that's another reason why I don't believe that real estate prices will decline, well, at least not significantly here in Houston, Texas, because we do have the largest medical center in the world. So I don't think that we'll have such a dire hit from the lowering of oil prices. So that's my quick points on that. Do you think that this is part of the Russia and OPEC teaming up to take over, or do you think it was just a coincidence that it just happened to be at the right time when coronavirus hit? What is your opinion about that? Comment below, let me know. If you need anything real estate related, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help.